Last lecture, we were talking about the classical or Langevin theory of paramagnetism. We talked about the origin of paramagnetism, which is the permanent dipoles present inside the specimen, present inside the paramagnetic materials, right? Then we did the mathematical treatment. We derived the magnetic moment, the average magnetic moment possessed by uh, paramagnetic material, right? This was the expression for the average magnetic moment possessed by the paramagnetic materials. And then we talked about the magnetization produced in the material having unit volume and having n number of atoms per unit volume. Okay, so m is equal to n mu, where mu is the average magnetic moment and average magnetic moment of an atom, and n is the total number of atoms per unit volume. Okay, so this gives you total magnetization for a unit volume. So this is further equal to n mu m l x. Okay, where Lx gives you the Langevin function. Now we need to evaluate the Langevin function for two different cases. And the cases are let us evaluate the Langevin function for two different cases. First case is when x is very less than 1, which means that what was x? X was mu m b upon k b t. Okay, this was x. When x is when this value is very less than 1, which means that either the temperature T is very high or the magnetic field is very small. Okay, this means that T is very high or T is very small. So therefore, let us evaluate Lx for x is very small, or you can say x approaching to 0, which is further equal to, now what is the value of Lx? Lx was, if you see this, this is the value of Lx. Lx is equal to cot hyperbolic x minus 1 upon x. So this is equal to cot hyperbolic x minus 1 upon x, and x approaches to 0. Now cot hyperbolic x, it can be expanded and it could be written in the form 1 upon x plus x upon 3 minus x cube upon 45 plus so on. This is the expansion of the cot hyperbolic x. You must have studied this in your mathematics classes. Minus 1 upon x is also there, and x tends to 0. Now for small x, higher values of x can be neglected. Higher values of x can be neglected. Okay, so we are ignoring these terms, x by 3, x cube and other higher terms of x, we are ignoring them. So therefore, Lx, x approaching to 0 is simply equal to 1 upon x plus x upon 3 minus 1 upon x is also there, which is equal to x by 3. Okay, so we can say that Lx when x approaches to 0, or we can say that Langevin function when T is very high, or the magnetic field, when the temperature is very high or the magnetic field is very small, then the value of Langevin function is equal to x divided by 3. Okay, so Lx when x approaches to 0 is equal to x by 3. Okay, so if you substitute the value of x over here, this will give you the value of x was mu m b divided by 3 kbt. Okay, this 3 is because of this, and mu mb upon kbt was the value of x. This we had done substitution in the last class. Okay, so now the net magnetization, total magnetization for a unit volume, let us substitute this value of Lx, and the net magnetization will become what? M was equal to N mu M into Lx. This was the value. So if you are substituting the value of Lx, then this will become N mu M into Lx. The value of Lx is mu M B upon 3 kBT. Right? So this further means that M is equal to, magnetization is equal to N number of atoms per unit volume into mu M square, then B divided by 3 kB. kB is the Boltzmann constant, T is the temperature, which is further equal to, now you can use the fact that B is equal to mu naught H. So if you substitute B is equal to mu naught H in this expression, then M will become mu naught N mu M square divided by 3 kB into H. Okay. Now what about the susceptibility? Susceptibility is magnetization per unit divided by this applied magnetic field, okay, or magnetic field intensity. So paramagnetic susceptibility, psi para, is defined as M upon H, which is equal to, if you take this H to this side, then this will become M upon H, and this will give you the paramagnetic susceptibility, which is equal to mu naught N mu M square divided by 3 kBT. So this is the paramagnetic susceptibility. Psi para is equal to mu naught n mu m square divided by 3 kb t. Okay, so what does it shows? What information you got from this expression? It shows that the paramagnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to temperature. See, while if you remember, while doing the same treatment, while going through the Langevin theory for diamagnetism, we got an expression in which there was no temperature at all, right? Which shows that the susceptibility of diamagnetic materials is independent of temperature. But in this case, we got it dependent upon temperature, and it is inversely proportional to temperature, right? So you may write this entire quantity is a constant. This is C and divided by T. Okay, where C is known as Curie's constant. C is called Curie constant. And its value is C is equal to mu naught n mu m square divided by 3 kb. Okay, and this equation psi para is equal to C upon T. Susceptibility for paramagnetic materials is equal to C upon T. This is called Curie's law. This is called Curie law. Many times this question has been asked in examination. State and prove Curie law for paramagnetic materials. So you have to do this treatment. Okay. So Curie law applies in the limit हमने क्या assume किया था? Initially we assume that mu m b should be less than kb t, okay, or when x is less than 1. X is less than 1. Okay, so if you plot a graph between temperature and susceptibility, inverse of susceptibility for paramagnetic materials, you'll get a straight line. Okay, for this particular situation when x is very less than 1. Okay, so this was the case 1. Now case 2 is when x is greater than 1, which further means that mu mb this means that because x is equal to mu mb divided by kbt, right? So if x is greater than 1, it means, which means that mu mb divided by kt is very greater than 1. This means that mu mb is greater than kb t. Okay, which means that either the temperature is very low or the magnetic field is very large. This means that T is low or T is high. Okay, so under this situation, Lx tends to unity. When you apply this condition, Lx will tend to unity. So this will be approximately equal to 1. So this will be approximately equal to 1 when this will be the situation, when the temperature will be either high or the magnetic field will be, when the temperature will be either low or the magnetic field will be high. Okay. So the magnetization in this case is equal to N mu m Lx, you know that, which is further equal to Ms, saturation magnetization, right? So in this situation, when the temperature is low or the applied magnetic field is quite high, in this situation, what will happen? That all the dipoles, they will be aligned in the direction of the magnetic field, and therefore the magnetization will be stabilized. Now there will be no increase in the, when you increase the temperature, the susceptibility will not change at all. Okay, the magnetization will not change at all. So this is called saturation magnetization, MS, right? So this is the situation. If we plot a graph between x, which is equal to mu m p divided by kBt, if we plot a graph between x and Lx, Lx is equal to what? M divided by n mu m, because if you see from this relation, you can say that Lx is equal to m divided by n mu m. Okay, this is the graph between x and Lx, right? So if you increase the value of x, magnetization increases, right? But there will be a situation when this magnetization saturates, and if you further increase the value of x, or if you further increase the magnetic field, the magnetization will get saturated, right? So there will not be any further increase in the magnetization even if you increase the magnetic field. Okay, so this is called saturation magnetization, and this will happen at a situation when m will become equal to n mu m. Okay, which means that when this will become Lx, the value of Lx will become equal to 1. Okay, so this is for the higher magnetic field or for the low temperature. Okay, so this was the Langevin theory for paramagnetism. Now we will see that there are some circumstances where the Langevin theory is not applicable for the paramagnetic materials. Let us say what are those circumstances and what are the limitations of Langevin theory, or you can say what are the failures of Langevin theory. Failure of Langevin theory. So the first limitation is Langevin theory could not explain the complicated dependence of psi para upon temperature exhibited by several paramagnetics such as highly compressed and cooled gases, highly compressed and cooled gases, such as very much concentrated solutions of salts, concentrated solutions of salts, solids, solids, crystals, etc. Okay, so Langevin theory of paramagnetism cannot explain the dependence of paramagnetic susceptibility on temperature for these kind of materials, for highly compressed and cooled gases, for concentrated solution of salts, for solids, for crystals. Why is it so? That is, so in this case, in this particular case, xi para is equal to C upon T is not obeyed. This Curie law is not obeyed. Rather, these materials obey the law xi para is equal to C upon T minus theta. So this law is obeyed. Instead of obeying this Curie's law C upon T, this particular law is obeyed C upon T minus theta. Okay, so this is one limitation. We will see why it happens like this and what is done in order to resolve this problem. Okay, so this is first limitation. Second limitation is it could not explain the intimate relationship between the para and ferromagnetism. It could not explain relation between para and ferromagnetism. So what happens in paramagnetic materials that they behaves like ferromagnetic materials at a certain temperature, at Curie temperature. The temperature is known as the Curie temperature. So at Curie temperature, ferromagnetics, they behaves like paramagnetics, right? When you increase the temperature and when you increase the magnetic field, at certain magnetic field, at certain value of the temperature or at certain value of the magnetic field, there is a transition. The paramagnetic materials, they behaves like ferromagnetic, they behaves like ferromagnetic materials, right? So this behavior is not being explained by the Langevin theory of paramagnetism, right? So in order to explain these two constraints, we need to introduce a more complex theory, another theory which is known as the Weiss molecular field theory of paramagnetism, right? Which explains these two constraints of paramagnetic materials. What are those two constraints? First is the relationship xi is equal to C upon T is not being followed for many of the materials like highly compressed and cooled gases, concentrated solution of salts, solids, crystals, etc. So in these type of materials, this relation is obeyed instead of this relation, right? Second constraint is it could not explain the relationship between para and ferromagnetism. Why at Curie temperature ferromagnetic materials behaves like paramagnetic materials? It was not explained by the Langevin theory of paramagnetism, right? So in order to resolve, in order to overcome these constraints, another theory of paramagnetism was introduced, which is known as the Weiss molecular field theory of paramagnetism. So the name of the theory is Weiss molecular field theory of paramagnetism. So Weiss introduced this theory. What he did, he just modified the Langevin theory of paramagnetism by introducing a new concept of internal molecular field. We found that the internal molecular field was not taken into account while discussing the Langevin theory of paramagnetism. What is this internal molecular field? So he observed that if there are, see, n number of molecules together, and let's say if they are, each molecule is behaving like a dipole, let's say, then we found that, or he suggested that, if let us say we are talking about this molecule, then he suggested that other dipoles or other molecules are also exerting a field on this particular molecule, right? They are also interacting with each other. The dipoles are also interacting with each other, and they are exerting a force on this particular molecule. Similarly, if we are talking about this molecule, the other surrounding molecules are also exerting a force on this molecule. Okay, so this is known as the internal field, right? And this internal field is such that when you apply any external magnetic field to this specimen, then this internal field will add into the magnetization of the material, and it will be in the same direction as that of the magnetization of the material, right? So if M is the magnetization of this material, then this internal field will also adding its impact into the overall magnetization of the material, right? So what we have to do in doing the Langevin theory of paramagnetism, we were not considering this internal field. We have not taken into account this internal field. But in Wish molecular field theory, we are also taking into account this internal field, right? So by taking, when we are taking into account this internal field of the molecules, then the entire magnetization will change, right? It will be added upon by certain value. A certain value will be added upon in this magnetization, right? So let us see how the internal molecular field is being impacting the overall magnetization of the paramagnetic materials, right? Okay, so let us say that, let us assume that the internal molecular field is represented by internal molecular field is represented by Hi, that is Hi. I told you this internal field is helping the magnetization to increase. It is raising the magnetization. So what does it mean? That internal field is directly proportional to magnetization. Okay, which is further equal to, which further implies that internal field is equal to lambda m, where lambda is known as the molecular field constant, where lambda is known as the molecular field constant. Okay. Now, what should be the net effective field? The net effective field will be the applied magnetic field plus the field due to the internal molecular field, right? So this will be H effective is equal to H plus Hi. Okay. Now, according to Langevin theory, magnetization is equal to N mu M square divided by 3 kBT and mu naught is also there into H. Now instead of H, this will be H effective, right? Because in Langevin theory, we were not taking into account this internal field. But here we are also taking into account the internal field, so we have to write H effective instead of simply writing H. Okay, so this is the magnetization, and we also know that H effective is equal to H plus HI, so we will be substituting this value over here in this relation. So this will become M is equal to mu naught N mu M square divided by 3 kB T H plus HI. H effective is being replaced by H plus HI, okay, which is further equal to mu naught N mu M square divided by 3 kB T into H plus, what is HI? HI is equal to lambda M, okay, so we can replace HI by lambda M. This is further equal to, if you separate H and delta M, this will become mu naught N mu M square divided by 3 kBT into H plus mu naught N mu M square divided by 3 kB T into lambda M. This is M is equal to this. Now let us do one thing. Let us keep the terms containing M on one side and other terms on other side. So this will give you M minus mu naught, or we can take M outside as common, and then in the inside you will get yes. So this will be like M outside and then 1 minus this term mu naught N mu M square lambda divided by 3 kB T is equal to this term, which is mu naught N mu M square H divided by 3 kB T. Okay, now see, ultimately I have to talk about the susceptibility, and susceptibility for paramagnetic material is equal to M upon H. So M is here and H is here, we are keeping them together, and then other terms we will keep on the other side. So this will equal to mu naught N mu M square. This is not square, so don't get confused, okay. Mu naught N mu M square divided by H we have already taken on the left hand side. So this is 3 kB and 3 kB and T we will be taking inside. T को हम अंदर ले लेंगे, इस टर्म को हम नीचे डिवीजन में ले जाएंगे और T को अंदर ले जाएंगे. So this will become T minus mu naught N mu M square lambda divided by T से T cancel हो जाएगा. So this will be 3 kB. 3 kB. Okay, right? So now tell me, what is this? Mu naught N mu M square upon 3 kB. What is this? You have seen the Langevin theory carefully. You might be knowing this. What is C? Yes, this is Curie. No, this is Curie constant. C here. C is Curie constant, and this value will give you C is equal to mu naught N mu M square divided by 3 kB, which is Curie constant, right? So we can replace this value by Curie constant C divided by This is T minus this term we can denote by theta, another constant theta. Okay, so we can say that susceptibility for paramagnetic materials is equal to C upon T minus theta, where C is Curie constant and its value is mu naught n mu m square divided by 3 kb, and theta is another constant whose value is equal to mu naught n mu m square into lambda. Lambda is the molecular field coefficient divided by 3 kb, right? So this equation is known as Curie-Weiss law. This is known as Curie-Weiss law. Here C is the Curie constant, theta is called paramagnetic Curie temperature. इसको कई बार हम theta C से भी denote करते हैं. So you can also do that, theta C. This is called paramagnetic Curie temperature. This is called paramagnetic Curie temperature. For most of the paramagnetic materials, theta C is less than T, so that susceptibility is positive. So that susceptibility is positive. Right? Okay, so this is all about paramagnetic materials. So we discussed the domain theory, we discussed the origin of magnetism in paramagnetic materials. Then we talked about the classical or Langevin theory of paramagnetism. Then we talked about the modified Weiss theory of paramagnetic materials. Yeah, is that okay? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. Yes, students. Any other students? If there is any doubt, please do ask me.